but like I just have so many books I need to read. I just don't have time to not be reading.
Here's what I found.
Oh my gosh. That scared me so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome back to my weekly vlog. I am feeling really energized today and ready to start my reading week. Last week I didn't feel slumpy, but I definitely felt like I didn't know what I wanted to read next, and so I didn't read as many books as I wanted to. But that's okay. There's just times like that. So over the weekend, I kind of like the idea of like having 3 books that I want to read with the goal of trying to get through all of them. This weekend I did not get through all of them. If you've been following my channel, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Check out my content. If it vibes with you, would love to have you. But I discussed that we have moved, and so we went from renting to buying, and there's just a lot that goes into that, as some of you guys know, and just trying to finish up a lot of things from the old rental. And it's just like so busy this weekend. We're just ready to be relaxing on the weekend and not do anything with packing or moving or cleaning or any of those things. But that definitely interrupted some of my reading this weekend. However, I did get 2 books done that I want to talk about. And then I did not vlog last Thursday, so it was just a crazy hectic day. And so my vlog last week went into Saturday, and so I might have talked about this already, but if I did, feel free to skip. If I didn't, here we go. Okay, so the first book that I finished this weekend was The Matchbreaker Summer. This is a YA novel by Annie Raines. And I saw this on the Bookish Knitters channel last year as like a summer read recommendation, and really had didn't really know what it was going to be about. At this point, if the cover looks good and Bookish Knitters recommends it, I'm going to read it. So this is a YA novel that follows, I cannot remember the main girl's name for the life of me, but follows a girl at camp. Her mom is the camp owner. She owns the camp. Her dad has recently passed away. Well, maybe about 4 years ago, he passed away. Mom is dating a new guy, Dave, and the girl's world has been turned upside down because her mom has just said that not only is this the last camp time that she's going to have because they're selling the camp, but they're also going to move to a different state to support Dave's family. So she's just not thrilled at all, which any teenager would feel the same, right? And so she is a camp counselor, and she is trying to enjoy that with her friends, but this is weighing heavy on her and she hasn't told anybody. The bad boy, Hayden, like graffitis their camp, whatever, and the mom decides to let him sort of work off what he's done as punishment. And he's a camp counselor. Anyway, Hayden and the girl hit it off. She's super judgmental of him at first, but they start a partnership because they want to break up Dave and her mom. And so he says he'll help her. And then I think she starts feeling guilty about that in general because it's not her personality. Her personality is very like docile and a rule follower, and Hayden is bringing a different side out of her, which also begins to complicate her friendship with her best friend Nora. I can remember everybody else's name in the story except hers, but Nora is boy crazy. She kind of likes Hayden but doesn't know that her friend likes Hayden, and so that creates conflict. Anyway, really cute book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It's about 270 or 240 pages. Just the right amount for a YA novel of this kind, and I thought it was really well written. I wanted it to end more of a happily ever after, which it didn't, but really good. I definitely recommend it, and I want to pass it on to my oldest, who's 15. I think she might like it. Then I read The Mystery at Claudia's House. So I listened to a podcast called Stuck in Stony Brook, and they were talking about this particular mystery that I hadn't read. Because I remember, like, as a kid, I didn't really read the mystery books that much. I just read the straight novels. And so this one sounded really good. And it's all about Janine, who has a boyfriend but's hiding it. And so it's not really a mystery so much because, like, I guess the mystery is that things in Claudia's room are disheveled and being taken, and she doesn't know what it is. But really, it's Janine trying to explore a fashion side or a side that's more quote unquote appealing to boys. I will recommend, and maybe I'll link it down below, but Stuck in Sunnybrook is a really great podcast. I was telling Kennedy about it, my oldest, because not only does it like go over each of the books, but each person on the podcast has a specialty. So you have a writer, a freelance writer, a feminist scholar, and like a clinical psychologist. I believe she's just teen psychologist or teen expert. And so they really look at the book from a different angle. And I appreciate that, because I don't know that I would really enjoy just like a rehash of the book every week. They really talk about like the interworkings of what's going on and why the kids would have acted this way. And they have like an opinion on parenting style or like what's normal versus what's not. So I really appreciate that. So I will link that down below when I edit this, because I think it's worth the listen if you are a Babysitters Club fan. Anyway, I gave that 4 stars. So really good reading week, a YA and a middle grade. That's all I could do. I really wanted to read more. Well, I did read more of the Ashes and the Cursed King or whatever. And I'm maybe about page 70 of 600, and it is really good. But I am in the mood to finish some things, and so that is still staying in the background. I'm not reading it, but I'm not actively pursuing it until I have a good chunk of time to do that. So yesterday I was pretty much at the rental all day or all morning trying to like paint and like get some things done. And then came back here, wanted to take Reagan to the park. I mean, there's just like, I don't think I sat and had some time to myself till about 4 o'clock or 4:30, and then I had to like cook. So not a lot of reading, but I was reading the Ashes book. But then last night is when I decided that I was gonna hold off on the Ashes book for now, because I wanted to like read something a little less like mind heavy. And I'm gonna grab the book. Always important for me to remember that you're not in my brain, and so I have to show you. So this is the book I was reading, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I am now on I'm still on page 55. I thought I was in 70, but I'm just a couple pages away from part 2 of this book. It is really good. It's really well written. I have it on my Kindle. I have the paper copy. But I was looking to read something with less brain power. And by brain power, I mean I didn't want to hold everybody's story right now. And I just didn't want to do that so much yesterday after what I was going through and how busy I was. So I pivoted to the book that I picked up on Friday, Tomorrow. So I'm really excited to be reading this book. This one's a really quick, I shouldn't say quick. It is written well, very detailed though. So like lots of detail about lots of different elements. And so we are following Sam and Sadie, and they met years ago at a hospital, when Sadie's sister was sick, and Sam was having some foot issues. He broke his foot or something and is having like repeat surgery, so he's at the hospital often, and they connect in a playroom where they play Nintendo together, and they play Mario Brothers and they play Duck Hunt, and then Sadie is trying to get some volunteer hours for her bat mitzvah, and so she starts with her mom's guidance visiting Sam regularly, but she logs the hours. And so the feeling is like, well, should we tell him that we're logging the hours, because he thinks they're just friends. Now over time they have built a friendship, but she never has told him about logging the hours. Anyway, he just found out that she was logging hours and he doesn't want to talk to her. And now we're getting a little bit of Sadie's backstory, starting with her in college, in a gaming class, and how she started dating her professor. And so I'm on page 42. It's really cute. I shouldn't say cute. It's really good. I'm excited to see where it goes. I like the writing style so far. And so this is my priority. And then I was doing reading sprints yesterday. So the reading sprints that I follow are on Mondays, Sundays, and Fridays. And so the Sunday one comes on at like 3 my time, which is not ideal for me, but I popped into it last night and just did a couple of the sprints with the recorded version and was reading tomorrow. But then that sprint is actually a scavenger hunt. So like they have a topic and everybody shares book recs that they have, which I think is really cute. Anyway, one of the books that they talked about was Hostile Talkover. So it's like taco truck. And I guess it's the part of the Street Food Cozies book series. And it talks about, I guess the person owns a fleet of food trucks. I haven't started it yet, but this is what I want to read on the Kindle when I am reading that. And then I also downloaded Mexico Margaritas and Murder. That's here. That was another recommendation, and that was another cozy mystery that's on Kindle Unlimited. So I am just like stacking up my Kindle with all kinds of books that I want to read, which is almost overwhelming because I have so many right now, but I just want to like, that's all I want to do in my free time is read. And then I also paused. So I think last week I mentioned that I was going to read Life's Too Short, and I also paused even starting this because I have a work trip this week that will be like a 6-hour drive, 3 hours there, 3 hours back, and I'm going to listen to that book on Audible. So I already downloaded that on Audible and I'm looking forward to that. So this is the priority right now. This is in the background. And when the lights go out or I want something different, I'm going to read this one. And that Hostile Talkover is literally 197 pages. So hopefully to get through that really quickly. Tomorrow, we're back on our grind with the library. Reagan will be there for about an hour and a half, and I will be taking her throughout the summer because the time conflicts with when my husband gets off work. So I'll have plenty of time to read. I'm going to bring both this and this tomorrow so that I can go back and forth while I'm waiting for her to get all her stuff done. So really ambitious this week. I want to get lots of things done. My TBR is filling up like crazy. I still have so many library books I need to get to. Like I have zero time to waste. So I think I might hide TikTok on my phone because if you're on TikTok, you know how it can be and how it really incorporates a lot of your time. So I might just hide it and focus on just reading whenever it's my downtime. So fingers crossed on that. Other than that, today, Reagan started Kids Club for the summer. So she has her summer activity. She'll go 3 times a week. Kennedy started driver's ed today. So she's online getting that started. I'm going to exercise today. I have an errand to run. Yeah, it's going to be a good day. So welcome to the start of my vlog, and I will check in later. Good morning and happy Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. I'm already exhausted. I don't know how I'm going to get through this week. Thursday, I have that road trip that I'm going on for work, and I'm already tired. So I don't know, but let me tell you what I read yesterday. So yesterday was reading sprints. Storm reads, does reading sprints on Monday. Beach Bum Bookworm does sprints on Sundays, and the Book Knitter does them on Friday. And so yesterday hopped on for a good bit, and I was focused on reading tomorrow. I took the cover off because it was just starting to bother me, and I didn't want to mess it up. It's a pretty cover, so I'm just having the book out. I got to page 108 yesterday, so I think that's a good chunk read. And this book is following Sadie and Sam, who are friends and programmers. They are working to create a video game. This book is narrated by an outside narrator, and it kind of gives the same vibes as Daisy Jones and the Six, where it's like we do have some interview clips, but we're also getting everybody's perspective of like starting the making of this video game, Ichigo. And it's going to be a huge success because we keep getting flashes in the future of interviews about Ichigo. And so we're learning about like how they've come together to make this, who's all involved in the process. There's a little bit of drama with Sadie and her mentor slash professor slash boyfriend, Dove, who dated her when she was at MIT, when he had a wife. He left and came back. He had a program that they needed for their game, and so Sadie said she would ask him and kind of got wrapped back in with him. So she's living with him again now, even though she knows he's married, and so that's a little bit messy. Sam had a great roommate, Marks, who was really well-to-do. Sam is not, and throughout college, Marks helped Sam financially, and he is allowing Sadie and Sam to use his apartment as like game headquarters. So Marks becomes a producer on the game. Dove was a producer on the game because he gave them the special engine they needed, Ulysses engine. And so like we have the four of them basically starting this game. Sadie and Sam do not have at this point, romantic relationship. They're just friends. Marks has a little crush on Sadie, but it hasn't moved forward at all. And like I said, Sadie is kind of back with Dove, and everybody's kind of questioning that because it's not a good look. And so it's just pretty good. I will say this, the pages are long, but the story moves fast, if that makes sense. So like, as you're going through the pages, number one, the type is kind of small. It's a big book, but also like the content in the pages is very wordy, very detailed, but the story is moving along and it is enjoyable. So I will continue with this today. You could see where I am right here. So maybe like a little less than a third through the book. How many pages is this book? Okay, it's about 400 pages. So yeah, I'm on 108. There's 400, no, there's 397, nope. Yeah, 397 pages. And so I bet I'll be done with this in about 2 more days. So excited to read that and finish it. And then yesterday, guys, first, let me just say, I started reading Hostile Talkover, which is like the street cart cozies, and it's all about a girl named Billy who's recently inherited a fleet of food trucks, and she's trying to recruit people to work for her food trucks, and she's recruiting from a culinary school where there was a murder. And so the people who are already in the town are a little upset and don't know, like, are these students that she's hiring, were they the murderer or were they just a witness to what happened? I'm only about 28% in. This book is 196 pages, so it just like flies by. But so far it's good. I'm on page 54. I'll probably finish this pretty soon too. I heard about this on the reading sprints on Sunday, and Tiffany mentioned, she's the Beach Bum Bookworm, that this book was okay. It's the first in the series, but she's willing to go on. They're so short though, like I'm okay to sort of like muscle through it. I also have downloaded a couple of books yesterday, of course. So I watched another vlog and somebody was reading Red, White, and Royal Blue. I've actually been wanting to read that for a while, but just haven't. And it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I just downloaded that. And then I pre-ordered Ali Hazelwood's Love Theoretically, and that popped on my Kindle this morning. So excited to jump into that as well. Now, last night I was reading on my Oasis, and I was just tired of holding it because I hate to say it. I was holding the Oasis and it's kind of a cumbersome hold, which is so first world. But if you have the Oasis, you know, like after a while, that sort of sidelong with the handle is not super comfortable. I don't want to put a pop socket on it because I don't know where I would put the pop socket. Maybe on that lifted edge, but that feels even more clunky. So I don't want to do that. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick up my Paperwhite. I like literally fell in love with the Paperwhite last night, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have one more day to decide if I want to keep the Oasis or return it. And honestly, like, I don't know. When I popped this in my hand, first of all, my stickers are on point back here. I love this decor. But when I popped this in my hand with my pop socket, I was like, I'm home. It's like so comfortable to hold. It's just nice and easy to grab. It's lightweight. And I was like flipping through the pages. And I don't know why it feels that way, but in the Oasis, like, you are clicking the pages, which is great. But like this, I'm just like, boom, boom. I don't know. Maybe you have to be there. If you understand, comment down below. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the Oasis. I do like it, but do I like it for the right reasons? I don't know. But the Paperwhite was on point last night, and that's how I got so far into Hostile Talk Over yesterday. So I don't know, guys. Anyway, that is the update for Tuesday. I need some coffee or something. I'm dying. And I'm going to be focused on both of these books tomorrow, and Hostile Talkover. Like I said, I think I can finish this in about 2 days. If I get another 150 pages read today, I'll feel good about this one. And then I think this could be done today. It's literally like 130 pages more. So I have committed to just like really getting through lots of books right now. And so I've kind of halted TikTok, and like I can read with YouTube in the background. I'm okay with that. But like, this is my spare time. Today is also a library day for Reagan. And so we will be at the library for an hour and a half. I'll bring both of these nuggets with me to get some reading done. So I just have so many books right now that I cannot afford to not be reading. And so, and it's in a good way. I mean that, like, I'm not feeling pressure to read. I feel like I want to keep going. So there's so many more books that I want to get to. My Kindle is like booming right now with the start of buying more books on my Kindle. There's like so many books just waiting to be read. And so, yeah, it's going to be a great reading week. And yeah, that's it for today, or for now, and I will come back later. Bye, guys. Good morning and happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. So I hopped on yesterday a little bit after my time at the library because I was so like deep into tomorrow. So I want to go back to that. So yesterday, as I mentioned, I wanted to read 150 pages, and I did. So just about 142. I started at 108 yesterday, and then I stopped at 251, which is the start of the next section, because it's broken up into parts. And so the next section is marriages. This is section 6. And so my goal is to finish this today. There's not that much left. I'm going to try to show you where I am. So I just have that little part left. And this book is really like not what I expected. So I think a lot of times when books are suggested, they are, made popular because people are reading them and people are enjoying them, but they're not like really discussing why. So I'm just going to adjust my angle a little bit. They're not really talking about why they are really good. And so like, I didn't know that much about Tomorrow. I knew that it was about, friends who were gamers or game creators. That's what I knew. And I think going into it without expectation has been really helpful. And so reading this with no expectation has created just a blank palette. And so I really think this is like adult fiction. It's not super like romance heavy. It's just a story. And as I've said, it's got like a outside party narrator, and so you're getting perspective of everybody who's a part of this gaming success. And so our main characters are Sam and Sadie, who again have been friends since childhood, off and on, right? Like they are not romantically involved, but they hold each other to like a standard and an expectation. And when one person does not meet the expectation, they do spend time apart of not speaking, which is hard because they're business partners. And so another person in the story has been Marks, who was Sam's roommate for a very long time and was always helpful to him, as Sam has always had foot issues. And so Mark and Sadie are starting to get closer now. So this next section labeled marriages, I'm wondering, like, is something gonna happen? But Sam still has a pining for Sadie, and Sadie has love for Sam too in a respectful way, but I don't think either are really romantic. So I don't know that it will have a conflict of that sort. But yeah, really like this. Definitely didn't know what to expect. So I think it is a highly recommendable book, but I think go in with zero expectation of like what it's supposed to be. Then yesterday, you see I have my Oasis again. I'm not going to give this up. Even though I loved the feel of the Paperwhite, this is just premium. What helped too was taking off the little pink cover that I had on it. And for me, like, the texture and feel of things is kind of important. It sounds silly, but it is. And so I liked just not having any cover on it and made it feel a little bit more premium. And honestly, easier to hold because the cover was not super bulky, but it still added bulk, if that makes sense. So this is a very thin device, and that's part of, you know, the appeal. Anyway, yesterday, Love Theoretically popped up on my Kindle because I'd already downloaded or pre-ordered it, and I started reading this last night. And so this is really cute. It's a little bit different than, at least it's starting differently than how Allie Hazelwood's other books have started. I'm only on page 15, 5% in, so I don't have that much, but basically where we're starting off is our main character is, what is her name? You guys, these names, I tell you. Our main character is fake dating Elsie. Elsie is fake dating this guy for his parents, and is it Greg? Anyway, she's fake dating a guy for his parents, and we're kind of jumping to the story. They've already had the arrangement set. They've been fake dating. Like, we don't have to go through that sort of build up trope of it. And there's a brother involved, which we get a prologue of something happening between the brother and Elsie. So I think the brother's name is Jack. And so I think we're going to, my hypothesis is that this story may follow Elsie and the guy she's fake dating. I want to say his name is Greg, but I can't be for sure. And I think that, you know, they don't want to be found out, but Jack might find out, and then he has to be in on it, and then Jack and Elsie are gonna end up having a relationship. That's my hypothesis on it. So we'll see. Excited about that. And there's something else I've been picking up. Okay, so knowing that tomorrow is coming to an end, and this Love Theoretically, I imagine, will be a quicker read. I did pick up The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hildebrand. This was one of my library picks, and I started yesterday. I only read like 2 pages, so I don't even know what's happening yet. They're at a hotel. It's in Nantucket. That's all I've got. But I figured this would be the next book that I want to read because my book of the month should be coming any day now. As you guys know, I moved, and I ordered my book of the month club, and it went to my old house. And it can't be forwarded, or it's like stuck in transit of being forwarded to my new address. And so they just sent out an additional box, a replacement box, which is very nice of them. And I did get the 5-star weekend. They're not related, but I just wanted to get into the summer vibe. Plus I have so many library books. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 library books that I want to read. And luckily my library has a really gracious renewal policy. And so I think they will renew it 5 times for a total of 15 weeks if nobody's waiting for the book. And so I don't have very popular books. The Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez, this might be the most popular, and The Roughest Draft. But I'm going to listen to Life's Too Short tomorrow while I am on my work road trip. So that is the plan for Wednesday. Finish tomorrow. Get a good chunk of Love Theoretically done. And if I can start the Hotel Nantucket, do that tomorrow. Like I said, it's mostly gonna be a listening day, maybe some reading at night. I don't know how I'll feel after the drive. And then Friday are sprints. And then I'm gonna get into the weekend of like heavy reading. So yeah, I think so. Oh, and almost forgot, that's how unmemorable it was. I finished Hostile Talkover yesterday, and I ended up giving it 2 stars. I'm not going to like DNF the series. It wasn't the best. And when it was suggested, this was mentioned, and so I'm not holding this against them, but it was very much a build-up of the whole series. And so like we meet the main characters, we meet people in the town, we learn about the whole idea of how this will work, and like a murder doesn't happen to like 60% into the book, which I don't want the murder mystery to like drag on, like in what is her name, well, the apple cider mysteries, like the murder happens right away and then you spend like 190 pages trying to like figure out all the possibilities. That's also not enjoyable. But this happening at 60%, there was like hardly any time to figure out who did it and what was the cause. 2 stars. I would come back to the series, but I'm not in a rush. But I did finish that, so I need to add that to my read books. But that is the plan for Wednesday, and we'll check in later. Good morning, happy Friday. Welcome to the last day of my vlog. So I did not get a chance to vlog yesterday because I took a quick, I'm gonna slide over just a little bit. I took a quick road trip for work, and I had mentioned this earlier in the week. It was about 3 hours there and 3 hours back. Totally worth it though, great connections made. But I had a chance to get into a good audiobook, and I just want to debrief you guys on what I have finished since Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I finished Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and I ended up giving that 5 stars. It was really, really good. And here's what I noticed, and I talked about with my family, is that like everybody said it was good, but nobody said like what it was about. So let me give you an overview without spoiling it for you. The story follows Sadie and Sam, who are lifelong friends who both have an interest in gaming and programming. They, over time, create a business with their friend Marks. Marks originally was Sam's roommate throughout college, and Marks becomes like the producer of games. There are other auxiliary characters that have a common thread, but like that's the core. And we kind of go through a journey of how they become successful in the gaming world. And so it is told by like a outside narrator, so we get everybody's perspective, but not like in a title the chapter, the name of the person, and then tell everything. It's just like pockets in and out of perspective. And the story is not a romance. It is literary fiction. It is about loss, heartbreak, tragedy. It does get dark at the end. Something happens that really changes the course of the business. And so it does get dark. And I don't think anybody really talks about that, or I didn't hear about that part. Really well written, but it does get dark. So just so you're mindful of that. I rated it 5 stars because I did not see the things that were coming. The dark thing that happened is against my personality of things I like to read, but I was so invested in the story, like of course I had to keep going. It's 5 stars. I wouldn't change the rating. The only thing I would say is that the relationship between Sam and Sadie goes through so many ups and downs that it was hard to read and watch. It's very, it's like any other relationship, I guess, that's long-term, or the friendship or unrequited love. It's just, you see so many times that communication could have been better, or they could have been better to each other, and you're just standing by watching like, guys, this is not, why are we doing this again? So I think when you have a story that's written that way, where you are so passionate about the characters and frustrated and just involved, it is saying something about the book. So 5 stars. I very much recommend the book. I do want to say though that it's not just about gaming. That is their job and that is what connects them, but it goes so much deeper than that. So all I ever heard about was like friends, kind of maybe a romance vibe with games, and that's not enough. So if you want to read the story, I highly recommend it, but it is so much more than games, and It's definitely not a traditional romance. There is love elements in the story, but it's not like a friends to lovers type thing. So highly recommend it though. Okay, so yesterday on my road trip, I decided early in the week that I was going to listen to Life's Too Short. So I picked this up at the beginning of the week saying I was going to read it, but I had a road trip for work a while ago and listened to yours truly. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the exact same thing because it was a really good story. So I figured this one would be good as well. Abby Jimenez writes about stories in Minnesota, and I live in Minnesota, and so it's really cool to sort of hear places that are real. And so this story follows, of course, Vanessa and Adrian. Vanessa comes from a troubled family. Her mom passed away in a car accident when Vanessa was pretty young, and all of the women in her family have suffered from ALS and have died pretty early in their life. So Vanessa is 28, soon to be 29, and she's decided that, you know what, I know I have ALS, I'm gonna die, and so I'm just going to live my life to the fullest every moment. And she quits her regular job, becomes a travel vlogger, and is really successful at that. And then her sister has recently had a baby. Her sister's 19, and the sister asks Vanessa to watch the baby while she goes to the grocery store, and she never comes back. Her sister Annabelle is pretty deep in drugs and is being enabled by their father, really. He gives her money and lets her stay there, lets her kind of do whatever. Vanessa is supporting the family with her vlogging account, and so taking on this baby has really changed what she can vlog. Obviously she can't travel, and so she's renting an apartment that Adrian owns. Adrian is a big-time lawyer, and he is actually with a girlfriend when they first start, but the baby's crying so much he goes over to be like, what's going on? Can you please move the baby away from the wall? It's so irritating. And Vanessa's like, what can I do? It's a whole human. And so Adrian ends up helping her calm the baby down. So throughout the story, Vanessa and Adrian become close. They both have admitted that they're not ready for a relationship. Something happens with Adrian's girlfriend. I won't spoil that. But they both decide they're not ready for a relationship, but they can be friends, and they kind of start co-parenting. So they start this co-parenting relationship. Adrian fosters a dog, and Vanessa loves the dog, and Adrian's great with the baby. And so they kind of go through their ups and downs of like, we like each other, but we're not dating. I gave this 4.5 stars. I think I marked it 4 stars on Goodreads. It was really good. I've heard mixed reviews about this one in particular, but I liked it. I was annoyed with Vanessa because while she believes she has ALS, she's never gone to the doctor to like confirm. She just wants to live her life, and she has some tingling in her hand, and so she's like, you know what, I probably have it, I'm just gonna write it out. And so at the end you kind of find out what happens, but she was not my favorite. Adrian was amazing. I think Abby Jimenez writes really great male characters, and her female characters are flawed in a way that makes the guy more lovable for continuing to love them. So I don't know what that says about the way I'm interpreting the stories, but definitely recommend this. So then I also started reading Love Theoretically. I'm about 41% in. This is still really good. It's basic Allie Hazelwood. We have our main character, Elsie, who is a physicist, and she's a theoretical physicist. She's looking to get a new job at MIT. She's an adjunct professor currently in her job. She's not making enough money. She has no health benefits. And so on the side, she works for like a faux dating website. So she basically pretends to be people's girlfriends for events, things like that. Not an escort, nothing physical happens. And so she's been faking to be a guy's girlfriend, Greg, who just has some social anxieties. And so Greg's brother Jack has always been around. I guess he's handsome, but they haven't really, he seems like he's suspicious of her. So Elsie goes to her MIT interview process, which is days long, and Jack is one of the other scientists that works in the department she's applying for. And so from there, they're kind of doing a little hate to lovers thing. You can see where that's going, but it is good. It's a nice, easy read. Then on Wednesday, I did get my Book of the Month Club books finally. So thank you to Book of the Month. They're not sponsoring this, but I appreciate that they had this forwarded. They also sent out a replacement, so I don't know what I'll do with the replacement books, but the 2 books I picked up this time, the first was She Started It, which is a thriller. There was nothing in the romance area that seemed really good to me this time. And so for Book of the Month, if I don't see a good romance, I usually go to the thriller. I am not really excited about this book, so I don't have a plan to start it yet, but I have it. And then I also picked up The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. Very excited about this, and so I definitely want to get into this soon, but I still need to start The Hotel Nantucket. So my plan is this weekend to finish up Love Theoretically, go to the Hotel Nantucket, and I'll probably read a Babysitters Club in the middle, and we'll see how far I can get. But anyway, that was my vlog this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you to all those who have recently subscribed and comment on my videos. I love to engage with you, and we'll see you in the next video on Thursday. Bye, guys.